Example 3, write a quadratic function with the given zeros. Letter A, x equals 4i and negative 4i. Now, before we start this one, I want to start with real numbers. That might make it slightly simple, or slightly more simple. So let's say we had the zeros of x equals 2 and negative 3. Now, when you get a solution of x equals 2 and x equals negative 3, keep in mind the zero product property. If I use the zero product property, I would break this apart. I would have x equals 2. I would have x equals negative 3. Those are my two solutions. Well, what if I went back to the zero product property and I got these equal to 0? In order to do that, I would have to minus 2, which would give me x minus 2 equals 0. I would have to add 3. So I would have x plus 3 equals 0. And then if I go back a step further, I would have x minus 2 times x plus 3 equals 0. I just took this guy and put him there, and I just took this guy and I put him there. And then this was my original equation, or my original function, that got me the two solutions of 2 and negative 3. Now, keep in mind, if I have x equals 2, that really looks like x minus 2, because you're going to take that step in there to set it equal to 0 and solve. Same thing with x equals negative 3. Well, that's x plus 3. The negative turns positive because you're going to take that extra step in there and set it equal to 0 and solve. So if we go apply that to what we're dealing with over here, we have a 4i and a negative 4i. So I could say, well, x equals 4i and x equals negative 4i. Now, in order to get that back to my function, I'd have to think zero product property. So on this one, I'm going to subtract the 4i. So I'm going to have x minus 4i equals 0. And on this one, I'm going to add the 4i. So I'm going to have x plus 4i equals 0. And then I can put them back into their factors. So I'm going to have an x minus 4i times an x plus 4i equals 0. Now, it says write a quadratic function with the given zeros. This is a quadratic function, but we are going to take the time to put it in standard form. So then I'm going to distribute. X times x is x squared. X times 4i is positive 4xi. Does not matter if you write 4ix. Negative 4i times x is negative 4xi. Negative 4i times positive 4i is negative 16i squared. Now the 4xi and the negative 4xi are going to cancel. And keep in mind that an I squared is really the same thing as negative 1. So when we take negative 1 times negative 16, this turns into a plus 16. And then we still have our x squared. And then I could put equals 0, but it says quadratic function. So I'm going to make it equals f of x so that I have a quadratic function with respect to x. If you were to check this, x squared plus 16, do you notice that there is no b term? So we could check it by solving by square root. So x squared plus 16 equals 0. I could subtract 16. So x squared equals negative 16. I could take the square root of both sides. So x equals, the negative is going to make I. The square root of 16 is 4. So 4i and negative 4i. And that's what we started with. Letter B, x equals 3 plus 2i and 3 minus 2i. Now, first of all, this is one full 0. This is one full 0. Do not break them apart. They're broken apart by the commas, not the pluses or minuses. So, x equals 3 plus 2i, and then way over here, x equals 3 minus 2i. We're going to get both of these equal to 0. So on the first one, I'm going to subtract 3. So x minus 3 equals 2i. Then I'm going to subtract 2i. So x minus 3 minus 2i equals 0. On the second one, subtract 3. So x minus 3 equals negative 2i. Then we're going to add 2i. So x minus 3 plus 2i equals 0. Then we're going to put those in their factors. So the first one over here in green, we have x minus 3 minus 2i. And then the second one over here in red, x minus 3 plus 2i. At this point, this is pretty much a function. Honestly, we could just erase the equals 0, put f of x in there, and we'd be good. But we're going to practice standard form. Because this is a trinomial times a trinomial, I'm going to use a box. I have an x, I have a negative 3, I have a negative 2i. I have an x, I have a negative 3, I have a positive 2i. Please use a box. These get confusing, especially with all those i's. X times x is x squared. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 2i times x, negative 2xi. Moving down, negative 3x, positive 9, positive 6i. Moving down again, 2xi, negative 6i, and then negative 4i squared. Now, if we did this correctly, anything with an I in it should cancel. If it doesn't, we did something wrong. So the negative 2xi and the positive 2xi, gone. The 6i, the negative 6i, gone. The 4i squared is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 4 is really just a positive 4. Then we're going to build our function. F of x equals x squared. Combine like terms, negative 6x. Combine like terms again, 9 plus 4 plus 13. And there's your function.